Hello, it's me, fddcsjxk. Got a new microphone, and thanks to your feedback, new layout. I hope that mobile users are able to see the screen. It's a little bit better. I've reduced the size of the scrolling banner, which I don't want to remove. It's got a lot of stuff that I just think is cool, you know? Got a little bit of flavor. I also want to thank CO Select for giving me a shout out in their latest video. Thanks, Snitch. I hope that your channel does well. Hopefully, we can both shed some light on Advanced Wars by Web community. Today, the replay is me and Bulkgalaxy on Shangri-La. I've talked a lot. Had 3 videos where I've mentioned this first turn advantage counter infantry on the left side is able to go to this forward-facing property very early on and take the cap. And I was very excited when I got into a league game as player 2 on Shangri-La, because for better or for worse, I was going to give it a try. Bulkgalaxy is a player around 900 rating. I'm a player around 800 rating. Bulkgalaxy, I would say, is generally a better player than me if you go by rating alone. Bulkgalaxy played Rachel, which is a CO that I am rather afraid of. I don't like the missile strike, but the covering fire super CO power. It really scares me. I don't feel like I understand how to deal with it well. It almost comes into play in this match, but without spoiling too much, get into it. So, on the right side, I was using JADLCS's play of going for this forward base, and on the left side I was using my own idea of going for this forward base. Bulkgalaxy went for a more standard conservative approach, going for the back caps early. 2 bases nearby the right side. You can see here that I take my starting infantry on the defensive base. I put it here. The reason I figured that this is a better play than this one is because these are base apart. I'd be able to transition well. Looking back on it, I'm not sure that that's the correct play. I think that maybe going here and then taking a second infantry to this base so that they might be able to go back a little bit easier. I feel like once you commit to this move, it's hard to get infantry back here really easily. Maybe I'm just being a baby about it. I'm not sure. This is identical to JDLCS's opening from the earlier replay that I did on Shangri-La. If you guys want to check that out, there's a separate video on that. This feels like a turn of inefficiency that might be unavoidable for Bulkgalaxy. I don't know Shangri-La all that well, but to only have 1 infantry capping on turn 3 seems a little rough to me. I don't like that. So you can see now I have this infantry capping, which is guaranteed to be able to. I think that if Bulkgalaxy had seen that I did not cap this, he could have moved this infantry that he built here last turn all the way to here, and then he could have stopped that, but that also feels really bad. I don't think that most player 1s here would be willing to make that trade. It's not good for them. There's no decent terrain to fight around. It's not easy to reinforce. You're basically trading, and because player 2 should always have an infantry advantage, the first turn advantage counter is 2 infantry on this map. It wouldn't feel good to lose an infantry even to delay that cap. I don't think that most players will do. And I think it's correct for most players to do that. So I think that Going for this forward base is a pretty safe option for player 2. I think I checked something up over here on the right side because I want to take these bases. Friend of the show, Lost and Found, has informed me that not taking these bases puts you at risk of a defensive artillery being created to stop you from taking those bases later, which is true and difficult to deal with. I failed to take both of these bases, but so does Bulkgalaxy. He builds his artillery, and at this point I'm like, I really checked this up, but in reality this was still salvageable. This was still totally salvageable, and I still misplayed because I was afraid of the artillery. I can move this onto one this turn, and then I can move this into capture range, and then he has to move this up, and then I don't know. I still can't. I needed 2 infantry that could have moved onto them, I think. Yeah, because he's going to be able to move the artillery up, and then if I had something start capping this, he would have been able to fire on it. This he played better than I also make, and he's got both of them starting. He's got 1 cap finish and the other cap starting. I did at least respond correctly to making mistake. I did not sacrifice unduly, and I'm getting this. This is uncontested. I'm further back than he is. I'll be able to get the bomb tower. He goes ahead and produces a tank. We're in fairly similar. I went ahead and hit. I'm Lash, attacking from. The tree has sort of served its purpose. It took away his funds this turn, so hopefully he doesn't like that. This infantry is placed so can't attack the artillery here. This infantry is baiting with this artillery. I feel like this is a good formation for me. I do try to contest this. His artillery effect, and this tank isn't in a position where it can back up his infantry. And I think this is a pretty key turn in the difference between our forces. That I build 2 tanks on the right side to start really pressuring him over here. I think that if I can just get this to retreat, then I can grab the city that I missed out on earlier, and that's... I'm already ahead in funds a little bit, but hitting this city would be really nice. And over here I build a mech to defend this artillery. The cheaper option for me to defend the artillery than a tank. Also kind of nice over here just because the mountain. But yeah, in order to stop the infantry and tank from preventing this cap, he moves the artillery out of range of the city. Neither of us have captured airports yet. It's really, really late. I think that we both a mistake here of not taking airports. I'm gonna have to revisit the cap phase and see if the plans that I had of moving forward like this seriously impedes getting the airport. I know that some players like to move their infantry that starts in the river back to get the airport super fast. It doesn't seem all that good to me. With 3 bases, I don't think that you have enough income to support the airport and all 3 bases reasonably. And getting a battlecopter on the side where your opponent has 2 bases just seems like they're going to build an anti-air and then just start kind of trying to chase it around. The only chance that you have of avoiding the anti-air at that point, flying through the middle a bunch, and things, and that might work out depending on the game that you're playing, but it seems really difficult at the very least. I build an artillery on the right side to ensure that I'm being properly defended. Move this artillery back on the left side to try to punish him for capping that. I don't think that'll stop him, but I can at least make him feel a little bit bad about it. This is an important development on the right side. I did the math and figured out that with attacking with the low HP infantry first, I can pretty much guarantee a kill here. And then from the city to the road, Lash can one-shot this infantry very easily. And then I can get in a shot onto this artillery that's not displaying. That's good enough. This rocket that he built is pretty threatening. It's not in range of the things that it needs to be able to hit this turn, which is one of the reasons that I made this play. I'm happy that I'm starting to wrap around with him on tanks. It's going to make defending this a lot more difficult for him. Over on the left side, I've got the mech, which makes this very strong defensive position. 2 tanks. He doesn't feel super comfortable going in with 3 tanks that he's got. Seems like he's committing too much funds on the defensive side for him. He had built like a mech or something that would be sufficient for me to not want to push into him. But this rocket sort of does pay off a little bit. 2 infantry wasn't enough to take out my infantry on this city, which is surprising to me. So he makes this good retreat, and he builds another rocket. It's a really curious decision to have 2 rockets here. He was a little greedy, and he goes rocket, mech, and this turn I think the builds were just not sensible for him. So I've got a lot of infantry in the back here, and he's got no vehicles. So I'm going to start just trying to fight as much as I can over here. I've got vehicles on his backside. I retreat to not have to deal with the rockets. I think that this is quite right. And I have to start scheming about what I'm going to do to deal with the rockets. I do have a really I have a significant tank advantage on the right side, but 2 of them are behind and they need to be able to wrap around really effectively if they're going to play a part. He's capped this airport now, which makes me wary of the things that he can build. Build a mech here. I didn't have the funds. Yeah, I wanted the battlecopter. Force him to build anti-air over here and to start securing properties. I can take this back, I felt. But I didn't have the funds to build I think, a battlecopter, which I could have miscalculated. So I need a battlecopter, so that'll put me that first range, 17,000. I could have done like battlecopter, anti-air. That's 9,000. Tank, infantry. That probably would have been better than building this mech. But having these two mechs right here is also just really strong defensively. I don't want him to push in over here, obviously. But I shouldn't be that afraid of it. Almost all the stuff that's got infantry. I don't think this mech was necessary. I think it would have been better to just build an infantry. I didn't even do that. I should have built... Yeah, I definitely should have built an anti-air over here this turn. When I saw that he had the airport. I think that's a mistake. This mech is really good, though. I don't know about the artillery. The artillery just seems... Looking back on it, I don't think that I would have built this artillery. It might come into play in a good way. I know he's going to push up with these, but I don't think that I can stop that with another artillery. I don't think that makes any sense. He responds in turn with a battlecopter. Tanks, no build here. That's a little tragic. If he could have done tank, infantry, mech, and having a mech over here would have done him a lot of good. He could just sat the mech between the two rockets. Would have been really scary. This is the turn. This is the turn that I'm most proud of. So I let this sit for 12 hours or so. I think even longer. I think I let this sit for 16 hours while I thought of what to do. And I decided, decided that the plan was to move these here and to form a defensive line where he would either have to move up through this corridor, or he would have to attack me. He could make a defensive formation in this corridor, or he could attack me on this terrain, which wasn't so likable to him. So I moved the tanks behind infantry here. I put one tank in the corner to protect an artillery. I put the infantry here to protect the artillery on other sides. I should have put this. I think that my initial plan was to put the artillery here and infantry here, but this is about the same. The mech goes here so that if he opens onto, if he drove up to here to hit an infantry or to hit this, then I could respond with the mech. I think that's really good mech positioning. I do build the anti-air this turn. Start capping the properties on the left side. I think that he's feeling the pressure now. Tank, anti-air. These two tanks on the bottom side can take out an infantry. And so Bulkgalaxy opts to have a defensive formation in that narrow corridor, which obviously isn't my favorite thing, but now I can put this artillery in range of the rocket. But I send the anti-air down to protect these two tanks. And I start brawling, because I figure that if I just build tanks this turn, that these are so close that they'll have to choose whether to fight or to run away. I built another, yeah, because I didn't want, he built another battlecopter. So if this battlecopter starts flying up, this is actually in range of almost everything that it needs to defend. And I have this unhurt tank. I have this 6 HP tank that I can use. I only got 3 in the area, so there's enough tanks here that I feel like if it turns into an extended brawl, that I'll just win. And so he fires one rocket at an artillery, he fires another rocket at artillery. He fires the artillery at the tank. Doesn't kill. If this killed, it might have been pretty bad for him. He decides to retreat with this tank and then forward with the other. And move back with the second tank. I don't think that he fires this. but he is going to move in on the left side. He built a rocket over here as well. It's rocket infantry tank. I think that the rocket spam, quote unquote, is not as effective as he believes it to be. I had to really wonder if I was going to use my CO power this turn just for the 10% bonus, but ended up deciding against it. I saw this mech over here, so I'm going to reposition my artillery a little bit. This artillery hits tank, and then I attack with the weakened tank in the back. This 3 HP artillery hits the rocket. Oh, 8 bugs. Okay, so yeah, the 6 HP tank can destroy the 3 HP tank that he's got. This tank will blow up this artillery, and I really wish that. Okay, so we're gonna get this to look right. It's a 9 HP artillery that gets destroyed by the. I think that was a gamble. I'm pretty sure that was a gamble. If I had used the CO power, then it would have been a lot safer. That's why I go all the way around for the planes bonus. I feel good about doing. I'm surprised that that is enough to kill, but I suppose that the rockets are really, really lightly armored. And now it's just a matter of putting as many things in the area as possible. So I didn't want to build this anti-air, but I realized that I'd put this anti-air in range of this rocket. So if he fought, I thought that if he fired that, obviously I don't think that's like super good for him, but it would make dealing with this battlecopter a lot harder. So went ahead and got another one. I'm going to move this down. I wanted this to be able to wrap around, like I was saying. And I think it was around this time that I realized that he did have a covering fire ready, and I got scared. So what I started doing was just going in. I said, well, that's fine. We'll just fight, and I'll hopefully hit enough of his things that it doesn't matter that much. I thought that I had won this side of the map, and that even a covering fire wouldn't be able to protect him from that, and that even if it was, I'd just be able to build reinforcements and then continue going in. I was a little bit worried over here that a covering fire would just decimate all my units, and he would be able to march on my HQ and win. Because if he perked like a tank on my, I think that artillery is maybe not so smart. I think that maybe just building something expensive to draw the fire. But this clump, I think I expected to take. But there's enough infantry here to draw one of the rockets, and it was. There's a rocket here, which isn't that surprising, but they had started fighting and they were gummed up and difficult to attack. And then, like I said, I don't think that this affected it. I think it's more or less how Bulkgalaxy felt about it, because they immediately resigned. So I feel like I did a pretty good job. A few kind of simple mistakes. I think next time I play Shangri-La, I'll probably do this play again, moving this forward. I'm not sure that I'll do JDLCS's play where he moves and captures this really early. I think it's strong, but I think that it's difficult. I'll have to at least think really hard about how I'm going to get these two cities before. And I don't want to skip too many cities in the process. Like, that might be easy to send to infantry immediately to go get this, but then if I don't have these, which are, I think they're slightly closer, then might cause an issue. The first turn advantage on our infantry is here, and then the second one is on the back base. Move forward like this, and then over here. and that's probably what I'll do with it rather than. But that might work. They get one here. I think this is, yeah, this is the one that, yeah, but the JDLCS plays here to here, but I can send it here to here. I think capping that early, I can get both in time before an artillery will come and ruin my life. So, good that I've thought about it. I need to do more math and pay more attention to Rachel's super bar, because it would have been really bad if I was in a position that I could not have recovered from after going in on the right side. I think I also need to recognize when I have enough of a tank advantage and the ability to resupply a front with tanks like I did over here, that, you know, just starting to build tanks from these two bases every turn and just sending them in, I probably could have won over on the right side much earlier, even with the threat of a rocket. And the second rocket was probably too greedy, probably made it easier for me to take it right here, rather than if he had built, say, a medium tank or something like that. I think a medium tank would have served him much better. I would have had to think much harder about how to deal with a second medium tank, rather than just being able to go in and smash faces with the number of tanks that I had. But I hope that everybody enjoys the new layout. It should be easier to watch on mobile, which I'm happy about. If it's still not big enough, let me know. I'm a boomer and don't watch videos on my phone. I just listen to stuff like my iPod. If there's anything you guys feel that I missed in the replay, let me know. I would greatly appreciate feedback, especially about my play. If you guys felt that I am misunderstanding anything, then the way that I'm going to be able to develop my play is through feedback and trying to understand the better plays to make. So point them out if you've got them. I appreciate everybody that's subscribed. I've got 72 subscribers, so it's only 28 more until I officially announce the tournament that I have planned. There should be cash prizes. If you've watched this far, I'll spoil that I'm looking to put about $200 or so, maybe a little bit more, into the prize pool. And some of that might be for someone to make a map for the tournament. I haven't decided yet. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Good luck.